Bob TV, Bob TV. What the fuck is going on TV? Monday morning, Bob TV.
Las Vegas police say they're investigating whether the Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside a Trump hotel is linked to the New Year's attack in New Orleans.
No, he did it because of aliens.
One person died inside the pickup truck, and 7 people nearby.
Today in the news.
To that facility. I mean, obviously, it's bad, and it's a major moneymaker for terrorist organizations. But when we dug into it, there was a UN report that talked about that specific night.
Unknowing UN.
The UN had, I believe,
stuck their fingers in it.
I think they opened an investigation on it because it was against, I don't know if it was Geneva Convention or what it was, but you could not bomb drug factories with civilians in it. And so it had talked about, how many targets and innocents were killed. And I was like, oh, so this actually lines up with what this guy's saying on the email, which, maybe not gives, the previous thing that we were talking about a little more validity. So
why he blew himself up on January 1st in that Tesla truck.
What was that? So it sounds like you take the manifesto seriously. You think it's real.
Mm-hmm.
The guy actually wrote it.
Well, then the other weird thing that gave it a lot of validity is because so when that interview popped up on my radar, walked in to the studio, getting ready to interview somebody. Jeremy, my producer, comes to me and says, hey, we got a guy on this Tesla bomber thing. And I'm like, I don't know, man. We get thousands and thousands and thousands of emails of people that want to come clean on something or expose something. And, probably 99% of it is bullshit. And, it's just somebody looking.
There is a mental health crisis.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks to 2019.
So I was really apprehensive to do it. And Jeremy was new at the time, and I didn't 100% trust him yet. And I was like, he's like, I think
Jeremy,
this guy right over here. And but he was hell bent on it. And so we did a call with Sam, and he didn't want to come on. And when he didn't want to come on, I was like, I like that. Okay, let's playing hard to get. All right. So he wanted to go visit his family member of his, and he's like, look, I just want to go hang out with this family member. I don't want to be there. And I said, hey, okay, look, we'll book you a flight here and book your flight to where you're going, and this should only take a couple hours. And he was like, all right, well, let me think about it. And then got back when I was doing the interview and wanted to come on. Well, so Jeremy tells me on a break, hey, we've got him. He's going to be here first thing in the morning. Well, I get done with the interview, and I look at my phone, and all these people are texting me about the interview I'm about to do. And they're like, hey.
It all ties into UFOs.
This DEA agent that was on the op, and his name was actually listed in the email. And they were like, he doesn't want his name to come out because he's still active. And I'm like, I'm not gonna burn somebody that's still active in undercover operations. I mean, that could get him killed, and
or worse,
and his family killed. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna dabble in stuff that we're working on, but.
Like bombing that fucking heroin fucking plant in Afghanistan.
Paranoid. I'm like, how the hell does everybody know that I'm getting ready to do this? So then I'm thinking all the people that are texting me are controlled assets or something. And then we had another friend of mine sent me a text, and he says, hey, the Army's public affair officer wants to talk to you about tomorrow's interview. And I called him up. Yeah, I called him up and reamed his ass. And I'm like, why the fuck are you texting me this shit? If the Army PAO wants to get a hold of me, I've got a website, I've got social, I've got all these things that he can get a hold of me at. And why is he using you to get to me? And why have you inserted yourself into my business? And because I'm sure you get it. I mean, this when you're uncovering some of this stuff, it can cause some extreme paranoia on who your friends are and what their motivations are and who's flipped and
who's catching lead in the
so
fucking
I wouldn't talk to him. I said, I'm not talking to him, but I'll pass the number to my attorney and Jeremy, and they can talk to him. And then when they talk to him, they wanted to kind of place it on PTSD, which wound up being the ultimate narrative from the mainstream media, right? Oh, yeah. PTSD.
It being the motive for killing himself. I
think that they used they used PTSD to basically insinuate that he is a crazy person. But I mean, pretty much everybody I know and have worked with, all my former colleagues, I mean, we all have that. And I mean, I'm not going to say we're not crazy, but not crazy like that. I mean, it's just a condition, and you can get over it. And he wasn't crazy. I mean, he obviously wanted to send some type of a message. I mean, you got a Green Beret with a full career in special operations, definitely knows demolition, and there is no way in hell that a lifelong Green Beret would put a bomb inside of a bulletproof truck to take out Trump Tower, kill a bunch of people. I mean, it was obviously he just wanted to get some attention and get whatever the message that he was trying to get out. And
the Tesla trucks are solid.
We could have just tweeted about it. You know, he didn't have to kill himself. So that's a pretty extreme thing. Yeah. You know, most extreme thing possible. What do you think his motive really was?
Like I said, I think he wanted to bring attention to the topics that he had, and
the anti-gravity,
the anti-gravitic propulsion system, and we looked into that, and all we could find is sci-fi shit. But
no, it's real, man.
Do you think any of it's real? I mean, you've interviewed people. In fact, the first show I ever saw of yours was with a building contractor who said he ran across anti-gravity technology in a military facility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do I think anti-gravitic propulsion systems are real? Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
do you think there are significant technologies, next generation energy, anti-gravity, that the U.S. government
100%. I mean,
we're left behind.
I do. I think that all this alien extraterrestrial shit, I mean, it's fun to dig down there, but I mean, I think it's a big distraction. I don't know if it's meant to be some type of a controlled op, but I think it is. I think all this stuff is spiritual. That's what I think.
Of course it is.
I think all this stuff is spiritual. All these things that people are seeing and stuff. I think there's a spirituality component to it. Now,
that these are angels and demons, or
yeah,
what?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, and okay, easy now.
And
aliens.
And where was I going?
Well, whatever. Same thing.
And
so to his
anti-gravitic propulsion systems. I mean, yeah, I would hope that we have shit that is next generation stuff that's not, the same shit we've been using since World War II.
Yeah, so the only real technological advances in 80 years are like the iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have advances. Like, we just interviewed this guy, Steve Quast. And do you know Steve Quast?
No.
Holy shit. Fascinating guy. But he talks about next generation energy and the fight that the utilities companies don't want us to have new energy. But anyways, what this guy does is he has a company called Space Built, I believe. And so he has basically created a logistics company where
get on a space
instead of launching one satellite up, he can
launch 20.
Which he says that's extremely expensive, and
it's like a city bus for space satellite.
And they're fragile, and they have to make the satellites bulletproof, which is a ton of weight.
Okay.
Because they have to be able to, withstand
asteroids
going through the atmosphere. And so what he's done is he is building a logistics company where they don't have to make the satellites bulletproof. You can make them 10 times bigger
than a tissue
the
paper
satellites that we have.
Fucking left.
And you launch them up in sections and pack them safely, so that they can
put them together like a
without
puzzle
having
in
all that
space.
extra
That doesn't
weight to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then his company would actually assemble those through laser robotics in space. And so what he says is possible is, and I believe him. I mean, he's got the right background to be talking about this stuff. And so what he says we can do, and we already have the technology, is basically they would put these ginormous satellites up into orbit, and they would be solar. So it would actually be a reliable, renewable energy source.
Well, there you have it. They're going to lock the whole world down in the next 6 months and send up the rest of Starlink and control the planet. Ha!